top 14 is back after 2 weeks off, and we are in France, and the lads are laughing at me bang opposite. I'm recording this on the train to Po. But top 14 is back after a couple of weeks off. 6 rounds to go. As with all the other breaks this season, it's been left in a tantalising position. And the European games the last couple of weeks have added a little bit of a different complexion to these games. So let's get into these fixtures. Po versus Bordeaux, the game we will be at. And it's one of those ones that takes a slightly different spin because of those European rounds. Bordeaux have rested a few players. They've still got a couple of star players. Does that open it up for Po? The weather isn't going to be great. Could that also help Po? The scrum's improving, the line-out's good. 2 areas Bordeaux are weak. I'm going to back my boys, Section Palois. In fact, they're going to be cheered on by a few Ros beefs as well. Definitely going to help. Rich is still backing Bordeaux. That B team has been pretty good this season, and it's not even a B team really. Castres v Van, another one that feels like it could have been straightforward, but for the European round. So 2 draining fixtures for Castres the last couple of weeks. Also a few injuries they've picked up along the way, whereas Van have had 2 weeks off. They will have been fresh. The pack has been pretty good. Will that help them? Rich is going to back his boys Castres and that strong record they've got at Pierre Fabre. I'm going to go for Van. I think they need it more, and I think Castres might not just have the fuel in the tank from the last couple of weeks. Lyon v Montpellier, 7th v 8th. You'd think that should be 2 evenly matched sides, but they had different fortunes in the Challenge Cup over the last couple of weeks. 2 of the favoured sides going into it, but Montpellier lost at home in the last 16. I've just lost my notes. And Lyon through to the semis with a really good away win at Ospreys. Lyon seemingly going from strength to strength. Montpellier a little bit iffy. We are both going for Lyon. They've just got that good form and that star quality. La Rochelle versus Bayonne. This feels like the sort of game that La Rochelle need at this point. Winless for over 100 days now, since the beginning of January. Bayonne have been much better on the road this season than they have in the past, but they're likely to have their eyes on the big showpiece game at San Sebastian against Section Palois next weekend. They've got a slightly weakened side still. They've still gone pretty hard at La Rochelle, and they could really pick La Rochelle apart at line-out time. But we are both going for La Rochelle in that one. The win just has to come from somewhere. They need it just that little bit more. Talking of teams needing a win, well, USAP versus Racing. Perpignan kind of at do or die now, especially with one of the weaker sides coming to their patch at Stade du Hameau. It's a repeat of the Challenge Cup game from a couple of weeks ago, the last 16. Racing got a good win in that. They seem to have turned themselves into a really good away side, but it is a very different USAP team. We are seeing that first choice front row, and that makes a huge difference for Perpignan, especially. Could make a huge difference against a team like Racing. Hard one to pick. Rich is going for Racing. They do seem to have turned themselves into a good away side, and their form general, they've sorted themselves out. I'm going for Perpignan again, a bit like Van. It's a must-win game, and I think they've got the pack to do it. Brooksy to star in that front row. Toulon v Clermont, interesting one, both involved in Europe, both had tough defeats at times. Toulon obviously very recently, last Sunday against Toulouse. Can they pick themselves back up? Clermont picked up a few injuries. We're both going for Toulon. They are still unbeaten in the top 14 at home, at least. Clermont have been pretty poor away from home. And Sunday evening to finish it off, El Clasico, as it is known, or Le Classique. Stade Francais against Toulouse, the 2 most successful sides in the history of French rugby. 2 sides at very opposite ends of this table though, and hard to know where Stade are at because they haven't played for a couple of weeks. They lost that game down at Montpellier after a huge turnaround. They blew such a big lead. Toulouse will almost certainly rest a load of players. They'll be sending the kids, but we know how good their rotated side is. It's still got some really good players like Mathis Castro-Ferreira, Josh Brennan, and we are actually both backing Toulouse in that one. Their squad depth, those youngsters just seem so strong in every game. Stade are just not quite that cohesive. So, some questions will get answered this week. Will Van get cut adrift? Will Perpignan get cut adrift? Are Racing fully out of the woods? Can Stade or maybe even La Rochelle get properly sucked into the relegation battle? Let us know what you think. Get in touch in the comments. Listen to the podcast for our debrief and my debrief from Po, but get in touch.